Construction projects happen across Britain every year. Roads are widened, new buildings rise, and the ground is excavated every single day. Most excavations uncover nothing unusual, just mud, stone, and centuries of ordinary history. But in Cambridgeshire, England, one routine excavation uncovered something no one expected. Hidden beneath the earth was an entire village, not hundreds of years old, but nearly 3,000 years old. And what archaeologists found inside was so perfectly preserved, they called it Britain's Pompeii. Pompeii was preserved by volcanic ash. Must Farm survived in a completely different way. Thousands of years ago, a devastating fire destroyed the village. The burning houses collapsed straight into a slow-moving river. Instead of rotting away, the thick mud sealed everything beneath the water. Wood, tools, food, even woven baskets survived. It was like freezing a single day in history. Unlike most archaeological sites, Must Farm wasn't destroyed slowly over centuries. Evidence suggests the fire spread rapidly. People escaped, but they left almost everything behind. Cooking pots still contained food. Everyday tools remained where they had fallen. Even wooden walkways survived. For archaeologists, this was more than an excavation. It was a snapshot of everyday life from the Bronze Age. The excavation quickly became one of Britain's most important archaeological investigations. Every layer of mud revealed something new. Perfectly preserved timber, ancient textiles, bronze tools, pottery, objects that almost never survived for 3,000 years. Experts realized they weren't just uncovering a village, they were uncovering the daily lives of real people. But perhaps the biggest mystery wasn't how the village was preserved. It was, why did it burn? Was it an accident, an attack, or something else entirely? The clues were buried within the ruins, and archaeologists were determined to uncover the truth. As archaeologists expanded the excavation, a remarkable picture began to emerge. The homes at Must Farm weren't built directly on dry land. They stood on large wooden stilts, raised above a slow-moving river. Strong oak posts supported circular wooden houses. Wooden walkways connected one home to another. Nearly 3,000 years ago, people here had created a unique village, unlike almost anything else discovered in Britain. This wasn't a royal palace. It wasn't a military fort. It was an ordinary community. Families cooked meals over open fires. Children played on the wooden platforms. Craftsmen repaired tools. Fishermen worked nearby waters. Life here followed a peaceful rhythm. For years, everything seemed normal. No one could have imagined that one single day would preserve their entire village forever. Then, disaster struck. Archaeologists know the village was destroyed by an intense fire, but they still debate exactly how it started. Some historians believe it may have been an accident. Others suggest it could have followed conflict or another unexpected event. The truth remains unknown. What is certain is that the flames spread with incredible speed. Within minutes, homes began collapsing into the river below. Ironically, the collapse saved the village. When the burning buildings fell into the water, thick mud quickly buried the remains. Without oxygen, wood couldn't rot. Textiles didn't completely disappear. Even tiny seeds, animal bones, and woven baskets survived. Instead of destroying history, nature preserved it. As excavation continued, experts realized they were seeing something extraordinarily rare. Wooden wheels, spears, bronze axes, fine pottery, even pieces of woven fabric. Most Bronze Age sites preserve only stone and metal, but Must Farm preserved everyday life itself. It gave archaeologists the chance to study the lives of ordinary people with a level of detail almost never seen before.
But one discovery puzzled the experts. Many valuable objects were still inside the houses. If the villagers had enough time to escape, why didn't they take their possessions? Did the fire spread too quickly? Or did something happen that no one has yet been able to explain? The evidence hidden inside the ruins may hold the answer. As the excavation continued, the houses began revealing their secrets. Inside one home, archaeologists found cooking pots still sitting beside ancient fireplaces. Wooden bowls, bronze tools, and carefully crafted weapons were exactly where their owners had left them. It felt as though time had suddenly stopped on the very day disaster struck. For archaeologists, this wasn't simply an ancient house. It was a frozen moment in human history. The discoveries weren't limited to buildings. Scientists examined food remains left inside the village. They found evidence of wheat, barley, animal bones, and fish from nearby rivers. These discoveries revealed what Bronze Age families ate, how they prepared meals, and how closely their lives depended on the surrounding landscape. 3,000 years later, even their final meals were helping historians understand their world. The people of Must Farm were far more skilled than many had imagined. They worked with bronze, carved wood with incredible precision, and produced beautifully woven textiles. Every object showed remarkable craftsmanship. This wasn't a primitive settlement. It was a thriving community filled with knowledge, experience, and generations of practical skill. Their work still impresses experts today. But one detail continued to puzzle archaeologists. Many valuable possessions remained inside the houses. If people had escaped, why leave behind tools, weapons, and everyday belongings? Evidence suggests the fire spread incredibly quickly. Perhaps they had only seconds to react. Or perhaps the real story has been lost forever. Sometimes, history leaves us with answers, and sometimes, only questions. Today, Must Farm is recognized as one of the most important Bronze Age archaeological sites ever discovered in Britain. Not because it contained treasure, but because it preserved ordinary life. The homes, the tools, the food, even the smallest everyday objects helped historians understand how real families lived nearly 3,000 years ago. It transformed ideas about life in Bronze Age Britain. Yet perhaps the greatest mystery wasn't the fire or the village itself. It was this: if one entire Bronze Age settlement could remain hidden for 3,000 years, how many more are still waiting beneath Britain's fields? The answer may still be buried underground. For archaeologists, Must Farm wasn't simply another excavation. It was a rare opportunity. Most ancient villages change over centuries. Buildings are repaired. Objects are moved. New generations reshape the landscape. But Must Farm was different. Evidence suggests the village was occupied for only a relatively short period before the devastating fire. That meant archaeologists were studying a single moment in time, almost like opening a time capsule sealed 3,000 years ago. The deeper researchers looked, the more incredible the discoveries became. Beautifully crafted wooden bowls, bronze axes, spears, fine pottery, woven textiles, even wooden wheels and fragments of furniture. Organic materials like these almost never survive for thousands of years. Without the river's oxygen-poor mud, most of these objects would have disappeared forever. Every discovery helped answer another question. How did Bronze Age families live? The houses were carefully planned. Food was stored for daily use. Tools were organized.
Craftsmanship was highly advanced. This wasn't a struggling community trying to survive. It was a well-organized settlement built by skilled people who understood engineering, farming, fishing, and metalworking. The discoveries challenged old assumptions about Bronze Age Britain. Before Must Farm, historians already knew Britain had thriving Bronze Age communities, but this discovery revealed something extraordinary. It showed not just how people died, but how they truly lived. Their homes, their meals, their tools, their daily routines. Very few archaeological sites anywhere in Europe preserve everyday life with such remarkable detail. That is why Must Farm became one of Britain's most important archaeological discoveries. Even after years of research, some questions remain unanswered. Exactly how did the fire begin? Was it an accident, a cooking fire, or something else? The archaeological evidence confirms the destruction, but it cannot tell us every detail. And perhaps That is what makes Must Farm so fascinating. Even after 3,000 years, history still keeps some of its secrets. The excavation was complete. Thousands of objects had been carefully preserved. Scientists had reconstructed an ancient community unlike any other. But one final question remained. If one perfectly preserved Bronze Age village could stay hidden for 3,000 years, how many more forgotten worlds still lie beneath Britain's fields, waiting for the next extraordinary discovery? The answer may be closer than anyone imagines. When the excavation finally came to an end, the story of Must Farm was only just beginning. Thousands of carefully preserved objects, from wooden bowls and woven textiles to bronze tools and ancient pottery, were studied by specialists from different fields. Each discovery added another piece to the puzzle. Together, they revealed one of the clearest pictures ever found of everyday life in Bronze Age Britain. Must Farm wasn't famous because it contained treasure. It became famous because it preserved ordinary people and ordinary lives. Today, Must Farm is recognized as one of Britain's most significant archaeological discoveries. Students, historians, and researchers continue to study the site, not because every mystery has been solved, but because every new examination reveals something previously overlooked. 3,000 years after the village disappeared, its people are still teaching us about the past. That is the true power of archaeology. It allows forgotten voices to be heard once again. Imagine walking across an ordinary field, never realizing that beneath your feet, an entire village has been waiting for 3,000 years. Families once laughed there, meals were shared, children grew up. And then, in a single devastating fire, everything changed. For centuries, nature protected their story, until one modern excavation brought it back into the light. History doesn't always disappear. Sometimes, it simply waits. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy real archaeological discoveries, forgotten British history, and true stories uncovered beneath the ground, subscribe for more documentary-style journeys into the past. Because somewhere beneath Britain's fields, forests, and ancient roads, another forgotten story is still waiting to be discovered. Until next time, take care and never underestimate what history may be hiding beneath your feet.